All right, AP Lang students, we're going to talk about the appeal to ethos today, which is one of our rhetorical appeals. And it's important that we talk about this one first because many rhetoricians and even Aristotle himself said that this was the most important of appeals. And we'll see that in this scenario. So think about it. Say you're struggling in math and you're thinking about who to ask for help. Who do you naturally go to if you had to choose a student? Obviously, you go to the teacher, right? And that kind of proves my point as well. But would you rather go to the student who's receiving A's on every test or the student who's receiving D's on every test? I'm pretty sure it was the first one, someone who's receiving A's on every test. Why? It's because they have proven themselves that they are worthy to ask for advice because they show content knowledge mastery. And so an appeal to ethos is where the speaker is credible and you know you can trust that person. So in this case, you're choosing the student with the most credibility, the one who's getting A's. And so that's what ethos is. It builds on the speaker's expertise, knowledge, experience, and sorry, the last one's cut off, but it's sincerity. So you look at, does the speaker have expertise or knowledge or experience in the area? And the last one is sincerity. And I think that's interesting because if you're listening to someone and they're not showing sincerity about what they believe and they're kind of expressing this kind of haphazard, nonchalant attitude towards the subject, that can also diminish ethos in a speech. And so the purpose is to develop trust or credibility with the audience. And it gives that audience a reason to listen to the speaker and believe the speaker, and potentially, if the speaker is using it correctly, to get the audience to do what he or she wants. And so it's very necessary because it's easy to tune out someone when you don't think they have the character, the expertise, the knowledge, or experience to share on that subject. For example, I remember once I had a coworker who was not very good at basketball, and he did not shoot the ball particularly well, but he would always give students advice and say, "Hey, you got to shoot the ball this way." But based on his track record for shooting the basketball, it wasn't very good, and it made me always just think, "Oh, I would not believe that person." And that's the opposite of ethos, right? And that can kill your credibility as a speaker. So here are some examples. First, Mamba mentality, right? Advertisements love to use ethos by using celebrity endorsements. So basically, what they're saying is you can trust Kobe Bryant because he's an MVP basketball player, the elite, and if he drinks vitamin water, then you should too. And so it's developing that rapport with the viewer, in this case, with the person on the advertisement. Another example that a lot of advertisers use is doctor recommended. We trust doctors, right? Because they have the background, they have the expertise, they've studied, they have the degrees, and so therefore they are credible. And so Colgate is saying dentists recommend this toothbrush. This is a very interesting story. I don't know if you heard it before, and I don't know if it's exactly true, but the story goes that a woman came to Gandhi one day, many years ago, and said, Gandhi, can you help my son who's developed a severe sugar eating habit? And can you tell him that sugar is bad for him and that he should stop eating sugar? And Gandhi said, I can do that, but give me 2 weeks. Come back in 2 weeks and I'll give you advice. And the mother said, Okay, and went back home. And 2 weeks later came back to Gandhi and said, Okay, give the advice to my little boy. And Gandhi said, Boy, you should not eat sugar. It's bad for you. And the mother said, How come we had to wait 2 weeks for you to say that? And Gandhi said, Well, I too love eating sugar. And so for me to tell your son not to eat sugar because it's bad for you would have been hypocritical. In other words, he felt he didn't have the credibility or the ethos to tell the boy what to do. And so, in order to properly appeal to ethos, he had to do it himself. And so, to recap, an appeal to ethos establishes trust and credibility with the audience. And it's absolutely vital, as Aristotle said, it's the most important rhetorical appeal. And it's used status, awareness, professionalism, character, research are all ways that speakers develop ethos. So, when thinking about how an author is creating his or her argument, always look for the writer or speaker's appeal to ethos.